Birdman.
Can it be? Yeah,
Here we are. Here we are.
here
Uh,
we go again, man. Here
and
we go
here we
again.
go again. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're on the official call for all the fans that are checking in. Myself, my co-host, the Birdman, Robert Bird. We
Yeah.
are here live and in color.
Yes, we are.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep.
Boy, and what a
Yep.
weekend, huh? What a weekend, Kenny.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Uh, that fight that was between
Yep.
Ortiz and Lubin
And Lubin, Erickson, Lubin.
has set the stage for if they do it, okay, the fight that will be the fight of 2026. Uh,
Yes.
if they make it, if
If
they
the
make the fight, that's the whole problem. Uh,
yes.
but man, what a fight I think that would be with Boots Ennis and Virgil Ortiz. I
Yeah.
think that's going to be one heck of a fight. But let's talk about the fact that he just beat somebody uh, over the weekend, Lubin, which was, Lubin was he was a tough guy. I mean, he gave Fondura everything that he could you know stand, and that was a heck of a fight of the year, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
The fight that he and Fondura did.
Yeah.
So uh, Leuven wasn't just a nobody, you know, that Virgil beat.
Yeah.
He was a tough old veteran. Uh,
Yes.
but Ortiz Ortiz evidently didn't get the memo.
They get the memo. And callers, you can call in at any time during this telecast. Just check in the description, and I'll tell you just what to do. Bird, you're exactly right. Uh, uh, Virgil Ortiz comes from well, his trainers. I've done many fights of uh,
Robert
Robert
Garcia.
Garcia.
Uh-huh.
Robert Garcia is an excellent trainer. Uh, uh, he will have Virgil just where Virgil needs to be if they make that fight happen with
Yeah,
Ennis.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and I'm sure Booth Ennis Camp will do the same thing, and that's what makes this fight such a fight that would kick the year off.
yes, it would.
2026,
Yeah,
it would
it would.
kick the year off, and what's to come. The only thing, like you said, is signing it,
Yeah,
getting the two parties together and making it happen. That's the key now.
yeah, yeah. Well, you know, I thought that Lupin, being a southpaw, might have given Virgil a little something to think about, but uh, it was no problem. Him being a southpaw was no problem for Virgil. He was just too aggressive, too fast, too sharp, maybe even too strong. Uh, and usually against southpaws, the punch you want to throw is a straight right. But
Yeah,
Virgil Ortiz whooped this boy using hooks, right hooks, left hooks, and most of the time, uh, left hooks. It's a little bit more difficult when you're trying to fight a southpaw, but
yeah,
it wasn't a problem at all for Verdi. He did a lot of damage in that fight, and he did it using both left hooks and right hooks.
yeah,
Uh, just too. I mean, my God, he was the 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 combinations he was throwing just too sharp, too fast
yeah,
for it. Uh, and that makes for an interesting contrast to Boots,
yes,
because Boots sometimes starts a little slower.
yeah,
Virgil looks like he starts fast. And, you know, when you have those two guys and the power that they have and the expertise
Yes.
that they have, uh, whew, man,
Yeah.
that's a fight that I want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got both fighters that are undefeated. Whenever you put two undefeated fighters in the ring, you can expect something to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've mentioned it on our show many a times. Um, I haven't followed their fights, especially in their early career. What has happened in the ring, as far as if they've ever been down before,
Hmm.
how they made adjustments to if they got caught with a good shot. Uh,
Hmm.
how, what are they going to do? And it's always a key factor because uh, when the referee plays a role in doing what he has to do, uh, and with the fight with Lupin and Ortiz, James Green was the referee,
Hmm.
and you got Lupin on the ropes, and it happened fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I commend uh, James Green for stopping it as quick as. I mean, he had to get there
Yeah.
because any further punishment could have been more damaging.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when a fighter is standing and he doesn't go down, and well, it was a typical stoppage that the referee had to do without question, and that's how we're trained. We always
Yeah.
go over when fights are stopped. We're trained to stop them the way we
Right.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is that uh, this wasn't just a quick stoppage. You know, there had been accumulated damage right
Oh
from
yes.
almost opening bell. Like I
Yeah.
said, it was just he was just too fast, too sharp,
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
from the beginning. You know,
Yes. Yeah.
and so the accumulation of damage is what really made Mr. Green see what he saw and do what he did.
Yeah.
And again, we always say it's not about, for a person, the boxer taking damage. It's about him taking unnecessary damage. And to
Exactly.
allow that fight to continue any further would have been a lot of unnecessary damage. So I
Unnecessary
I
damage.
I I agree with you. I commend referee Green for taking the step that he did because uh, this fight it wasn't going to get any better. Yeah.
No, it definitely wasn't going to get any better for Lubin. For Lubin, as you could clearly see, he wasn't complaining at all about
Mm.
the stoppage because he knew he was in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Matter of fact, in situations like that, and I'm sure it's happened to you, it's definitely happened to me, where a fighter will come up and quietly thank us for stopping the
Yes.
fight.
Yes. 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 And
Yeah.
that never gets talked about.
And that never gets talked
That
about.
never gets talked about.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
think, like I said, I think this fight really provided the impetus
Hmm.
for bringing uh, two young fighters together in a fight that really the game is
Hmm.
calling for and the public is calling for. And not only is the public calling for it, and not only is the game calling for it, the game deserves it and the public deserves it. They
Yes.
deserve fights like this to be made
Yeah.
when they're going to be spending their dollars, to
Yes.
see it. Uh,
Yeah.
this is something that they definitely need. The game needs it. The fighters need it. You
Yeah.
know, uh, so I'm really looking forward to uh, those promoters getting together and getting this thing signed and hopefully, like you said, starting 2026 off with a bang.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It would be nice if that could happen. It would
yeah,
be.
yeah.
And we've talked about the weight class between 147 and 168,
Hmm.
how that those weight classes and divisions have grown a lot over the years.
Yeah.
We could go back in the history and talk about when Sugar Ray Leonard, was in the Olympics, and after the Olympics he went pro, and talk about the Tommy Hearns and the Marvin Haglers, and how they started at lightweight, some of them, and worked their way all the way up to middleweight, and
Hmm.
how it has made that those weights very popular.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Whereas at the time back in that era, it was all about the heavyweight. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah, we got some good things that can be popping up and showing up in the near future.
yeah. And you can and fight callers out there, fans. You can call in now. The number and the link to join us in this conversation is in the description below. Now, there's another fight on the horizon that should have folks really perked up and ready to go, and that's the Connor Benn and Eubanks 2. Now, let me tell you something. This this is a fight where nobody had to. The game deserves it and is getting it. Okay, and the public is going to get this fight too because they don't like each other.
Yeah,
It's genuine. I mean, it's genuine. They genuinely do not like each other. Now,
yeah,
on the flip side of that, they respect each other. There's mutual respect, but there's also genuine dislike, you know.
yeah,
And but these two fighters are they're warriors. I
yeah.
mean, you they're not going to have to look for each other. You
No,
know, they're not going to have to look for each other. So it's another fight that I'm looking forward to.
yeah. Well, I tell you, the first fight, Eubanks and Ben's, was a war, and one can only suspect that fight two is going to be a war. And we've seen rematches over the years. Uh, uh, the good thing about rematches is that if the opposing loser wins the second fight, then you're kind of up for the trilogy. And we've seen great trilogies
Yes.
over the years. I mean, I can start out first with Ali and Frazier in Madison Square Garden. That fight brought on a second and then a third fight, which I mentioned when Ali fought Frazier in the Thriller Manila,
Mhm.
and they just had a 50-year anniversary in the Philippines just a few days ago. Um, but then you could look at other trilogies like Mickey Ward
Got it. Got it,
and
Ward. Yeah,
Gotti. That
absolutely.
that that trilogy goes in the Mount Rushmore. That trilogy,
You got that right.
because for for three fights, you got nothing but pure energy from both fighters, and it was a masterpiece.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and then you continue to go into history with trilogies. I was a part of one of the trilogies when Manny Pacquiao
Hmm. Pacquiao and Mayweather.
when when Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah, when he fought Floyd Mayweather, you going in and out, Kenny.
Can you hear me now?
I got you down. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, when Manny Pacquiao did the trilogy with Eric Morales,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I happened to do the second fight, and when Manny Pacquiao fought Tim Bradley, you were part of that trilogy,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and those were good trilogies.
Mm.
Uh, Riddick Bowe and Evander Holyfield, that was a good trilogy.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can look at the history of trilogies and look at Ben and Eubanks and say that there's a possibility
Yes.
that we could end up with a trilogy depending upon how Connor Benz comes out and
Mm-hmm.
fight Chris Eubanks in fight two. If
Mm-hmm.
he could pull it off,
Mm-hmm.
then a trilogy is possible.
Yeah, very possible. Well, you know what? Uh, the thing that makes this so interesting, much like God in War for me, is
Yeah,
that this fight, the fight between these two guys, was a constant test of wills,
yeah,
back and forth and back and forth. Uh, wow, it 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 begs it begs to be
mhm,
a trilogy. Now that all depends on how this fight plays out. Okay, now if it's
yeah,
another war, yeah, you know. But if it's a one-sided fight, then probably
yeah,
not. But
yeah.
I just do not see this fight being a one-sided fight for either fighter. I just don't.
No, no.
Given the first fight, given the history of the fight, given the background, for the fathers of the fights, uh, you know, it begs it begs to be uh, another classic. You know,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And the only
It,
thing that might be different about this, and it's sort of a side story to this, is that much like the relationship between Floyd Mayweather and Floyd Jr. and Senior, uh, they had this clash uh, uh,
mhm,
early on, but then later in their lives, uh, they kind of got together. Well, I understand that at Eubank and his father, it was that same kind of situation
yeah,
between those two. But much like Floyd, the Mayweathers,
mhm,
the Eubanks have pretty much done the same thing. They've
yeah,
sort of come together, come to a meeting of the minds, uh, and put uh, put themselves in a better place.
yeah,
And I know with Floyd, uh, I thought it made Floyd a little bit better, and maybe in this case, it might make Eubanks a little bit better,
yeah,
because we don't have that part that this distance between each other. They've come together as father and son, you know, and
yeah,
so and that's something that sometimes people don't really buy into, but it makes all the difference in the world, or can make all the difference in the world.
yeah, yeah. And when you talk about father and son, what's more important
Hmm.
when you have a sport that you're involved in, and then you got father and son on both. I mean, fathers are going to be fathers, and
Yeah,
we know from over the years that uh, some fathers at some point in time in their son's career that they have to just let it go
yeah, yeah,
and let the son continue on with whoever the trainer is that they feel that they can work with uh, I believe when Sugar Shane Mosley was fighting, and his son and his dad was a very striking figure that was always there for his son. But I believe Shane got to the point to where, okay, Dad, let me do my thing,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
and fathers got to be understanding of that,
yeah.
because your love for your son and the son's love for his father should not be hampered.
Mm-hmm.
It,
Yeah,
their love for each other should always be there.
yeah. And I think, as a father, uh, it's not like a father in basketball or in baseball or even football. Boxing is a damaged sport. I mean,
Yes,
boxing is a sport in which you can suffer lifelong injury. You can die.
yes, yes,
And so, as a father, knowing that, knowing that, and especially in the case of Eubank Senior, because that's one of the things that really was a bone of contention between them, the father and the
hmm,
son, because the father was saying, you know, um, this is a game where you can really get hurt, and you're getting older now, and maybe you shouldn't do this. And the son is saying, I'm I feel like I'm at my peak and I can do this.
yeah,
And and it's wonderful that they could come together. And like I said, much same as Floyd and his father did, because for most of Floyd's career, his uncle was his trainer.
yes,
Uh, and the father, when he came in and said, I just have a different philosophy. And
yes,
and that philosophy did make a change in the way that Floyd fought later in
yeah,
life. So this is just another dynamic in this fight. But uh, like and I know, once they step into that four square, all of that goes kind of out of the window,
that's right.
because and especially in a fight where there's genuine dislike. Uh,
Yes,
they want to beat the other guy's face, you know.
yes,
Uh,
yes,
and so that's what you're gonna have in this fight. You're
yes,
gonna have that in this fight because uh, so much is on the line.
yeah.
So much is on the line. And by the way, fans and callers out there, you can call in, join in the conversation. We'd love to hear from you. Your number and the link to join us is in the description below.
Now, Bert, I wanted to ask you a question, because you've been in the ring not only as a referee but as a boxer.
Mm.
Has there ever been a time when your trainer was telling you to do something that you wasn't comfortable in doing? Like he kept wanted you to, slip the
Hmm.
jab and throw a hook under the arm. I mean,
Yeah,
was
yeah,
there anything that during your career that you questioned or chose that you should not do because
yeah.
it may not turn out the way you think?
Well, it's funny you would ask that question because, yeah, because I can sometimes be a little strong minded, uh,
Right.
and so early in my career, when my trainer was telling me is, boy, you got two hands, because I was much like Deontay Wilder. I had this right hand, it was powerful, and I wanted to knock people out, and he was telling me, he said, you have two hands,
Yeah.
and you need to really work on this. And so basically what he did was, I came to the gym and he said, look, Bird, if I see you throw one right hand today, then you're going to have to get in the ring with me and we're going to scrap. And that wasn't going to happen because I I wasn't crazy, you know. Uh, and so, yeah, we had that conversation. But uh, and really, when I left the gym that day, I thought really that my left arm was just gonna fall off because I couldn't throw a right hand, you know. And I mean, he wore me out. But in my next fight, I threw a couple of left hooks, and I saw what happened, and I went, "Oh, okay,
That's right,
I understand now. I get
right,
it." So
right,
yeah, there are times when because as a fighter, you sometimes feel like you're strong minded,
right.
and you tend to want to do things your way, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Uh, but
yeah,
and I know you know this because you you work fights and you kind of side over and doing between rounds and kind of listen in the corner, see what they're
yeah,
saying. And the
yeah.
thing that always amazed me, Kenny, was the fighter is paying that manager or that trainer to tell them what they need to
Right.
know.
Yes.
And so, wouldn't you, after you knowing that you're paying this person to do that, wouldn't you want to listen to what they're saying? And I know
Right.
you've been there, and I've been there, and I've listened in the
Yes.
corner, what they're telling the fighter, and then we watch,
Yes.
the fighter come out there and not do what the trainer is asking him to do.
Right. Right.
See
What I
things that
say, you must obey.
all right, that's you. Yeah,
Okay, caller. Okay, caller. Bring it. Bring it,
yeah. Because
caller.
what he says, you must obey.
Caller, are you there? I guess we may have lost the caller. Call us back, caller, because we like to take your call.
Yeah.
But Bird, the reason why I asked that question is because if your dad is in your corner
Uh huh.
and your dad tells you to do something,
What
Yeah.
I
okay,
say, you must obey.
okay, caller, are you there?
Yes, sir. Is this Brother Kenny?
Yes, sir.
Yes, what's up? Salute Kenny Bailey, salute Robert Bird. This is J.R. Bell of the Boston Source. What's going on?
All right, all right. How are you,
Yeah.
sir?
Welcome to the show. Appreciate you.
Yes, all good, all good. Just wanted to, chime in on a few of the topics you have on the docket for this show. You're touching on this thing in reference to Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, and I think I was just getting in here for the start of the show. So, was there like another topic that you touched on?
Well, we haven't touched on that yet. We will touch on it. We're actually talking about Chris Eubanks and Connor Benn's rematch fight. They're fighting again, and that's where we're talking. And actually, we're talking about fathers training their sons, and in
Mm,
this case, Eubanks uh, uh, Senior is going to be training his dad. And just prior to you calling on, I had asked Bird because he's been in the ring as a fighter and taking instructions from someone that is telling you something that you need to do, as opposed to it being your dad that's
Mhm.
in your corner that's telling
mm.
you what to do. That's where we were in the conversation when you called in.
Gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah,
yeah,
as they say, it's like a lot different when it's your father there as your head trainer or your chief second. You've seen many previous examples of that. Roy Jones has had his father in his corner. Shane Mosley has had his father in his corner, and we see recent examples here with Teofimo Lopez Sr.
Mhm.
With his son. You also have, as I would say, Jaleel Hackett with his father in his corner. So sometimes you'll have some good effects with it, and sometimes you have bad effects with it, as far as like being able to relay a message to your son, because it's like a little bit of an extra behind it, given that it's your son that's stepping out there in the ring and putting his life on the line.
How do you feel about it?
Um, it's tough because, as I was saying, when you have, your direct, relation that's there in the ring or in the corner with you, it could affect certain things of what could happen in the ring. You know what I mean? Like, say, for example, if a fighter is in serious trouble and, they might not know if their fighter or their son will be able to get back in the fight. So they might, for example, like throwing the towel at a certain time that maybe, the fighter themselves wouldn't necessarily want that. So it kind of like makes it be difficult in certain situations when a fighter is there in the ring and their father is there as a trainer or a chief second.
Very, very good point made. And my scenario would be your dad telling you to do throw certain combinations, and you're not comfortable in doing it. The fighter, and he don't do it, and he loses a fight. Now the dad is saying to the son, "Well, son, if you'd have done what I told you, you'd had a better chance. You lost on a decision." And now the son is a little irritated from this because he didn't feel comfortable to do it, whereas he lost the fight. And then things will develop from that. That could be long lasting, or it could be something that's forgotten, and you live to fight another day.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
So that relationship between father and son is it could be very detrimental
Yeah.
to their relationship.
Yeah. And I know with the Eubanks, I don't know. I know that there was a bone of contention between uh, uh, Chris Jr. and his dad, but there was another brother, uh, and because of what happened, Sebastian, okay, Eubanks, and whatever happened with Sebastian really had an effect on the conversation that he was having with Chris Jr. So, as a father, yeah, it's not only that you're my son. I mean, that you're a fighter that I'm training, but you're my son. You know,
Right.
and it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. 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 It is. And so the only thing now is that fight will take. Is it this week? Yeah, this weekend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The
It's
fight.
Saturday.
Yep.
Go ahead, caller.
Yep. Will be the rematch this Saturday at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Pretty good card there, and we're going to see what happens here with this main event with this rematch between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, and what would stem from the result of this match.
Yeah.
Maybe a trilogy.
Maybe a trilogy.
If the money's right, hey, why not?
Okay, now we can move on and get to we've all heard about Jake Paul and Tank Davis, that fight has been canceled. And caller, I would probably ask for your opinion as to when you first heard about the possibility or this fight taking place, what were your thoughts?
Oh, the first possibility, I didn't necessarily believe it. I was kind of thrown off because, I was at the fight between Tank Davis and Lamont Rose Jr. And after that, I was, having multiple thoughts that there would be a rematch. And, I spoke with, the party of Lamont Rose Jr. multiple times over the past few months, seeing if the rematch was going to happen. And then you go month after month after month, and it doesn't happen. And then all of a sudden you get this announcement, and I'm like, oh, okay, I see what was going on. So as far as like that particular event itself, I wasn't all too, a fan of it. But hey, as they say, money is money. And if that's the most lucrative deal out there, why not take it? So That's what happened at the time. And then you're going from, what was that, about a couple of weeks ago, with the potential possibility of that fight not happening. I was like, oh, well, I don't know if it's going to go through or not, but if it doesn't, then I was going to say I was screwed, because I was planning on going down there for the event. So, oh man. And then they ended up canceling it. And I'm like, well, see, I would have been down there in Miami, Florida for it if it actually happened. But hey, it didn't happen. And now, we just see what's going to be next year for Jake Paul. Man, I know y'all going to touch on the possibility of what could happen for Jake Paul possibly next month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, when the fight was first announced that Paul would fight Tank, I'm for me it was like I'm shaking my head because you got Jake Paul that's 200 pounds, and you got Tank that's 147, give or take. And what's going on here? It was kind of my attitude. I mean, Jake Paul has done a lot with women boxing, and how he's helped put them on the map, and that has been that's all great. But this kind of matchup, where are you going with this? So when I heard that it was canceled, I felt great about it, good about it, because what are you trying to prove fighting a guy that's 40, 50 pounds lighter than you, and you're much taller? Every stat from reach and everything is to your favor, Jake Paul. But now the talk is that he may fight, and you help me out with this, Bird, Anthony Joshua.
Well, let me tell you something. This is the first time, my opinion, that Paul is going to fight someone that is a viable contender. Let me tell you something. Joshua is not Mike Tyson. Joshua is a heavyweight that has fought some of the best heavyweights out there within the last 4 to 5 years. Okay. He's been active fighting. He has the skill and the talent of a heavyweight champion. Okay. And for the first time, we're going to get an answer, I believe, if this fight does occur. We're going to get an answer to the question of, is Paul in any way, shape, fashion a legitimate contender?
Yeah.
Does Paul really have the skill set to beat a fighter of Joshua's talent? Can he do that? The one thing I will say is that weight-wise, it makes a hell of a lot more sense than fighting Gervonta Davis, he was going to give up 80 pounds on, my other concern about this is that Joshua, I think, I credit him for accepting the fight, okay, because financially it's going to be quite good for him. But on the flip side of that, Kenny, Joshua has a hell of a lot to lose professionally. If he loses to Jay Paul, that's going to seriously damage him professionally. I don't know that it's going to negatively affect his legacy, because I think that may already have been established with some of the fights that he's fought and won and beat. But to lose to a YouTuber, I think
Yeah.
Joshua has a lot to lose.
Well, I'll make this quick comment, and then we'll go and we'll let the caller chime in. What has Anthony Joshua done in the last 6 months, a year, year and a half?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's been in the ring or not. And if he has been in the ring, what was the outcome?
Well, the only
Because
thing I just to help you out,
okay,
and I think it's occurred within the time frame that you talked about. He fought a UFC fighter, Francis Ngannou.
oh yes, oh yes,
First round, knocked him
yes,
out cold.
knocked him out.
And Francis
Yes,
Ngannou had never been knocked out, okay, in the UFC. He'd never
well,
been hurt in the UFC.
well, Francis also fought Tyson Fury
Mm-hmm.
and went the distance
Yes.
with Tyson Fury.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, like you said, he got in the ring and fought. Oh man, fought
Ngannou.
Ngannou and knocked him out clean.
Mm-hmm.
Knocked him out.
Yeah.
And so the question is, will Joshua be ready to put on that kind of a performance against Jake Paul?
Well, I'll tell you, Joshua has all the skill and the talent, and when he's on, he's a load.
Yeah,
He's a load. But when he has had issues, has been his chin
that's what's the next thing I was going to say.
and his
That's
stamina.
big.
His
That's
chin and his
big.
stamina. Yeah.
And it's that both of those are big. Caller, would you like to comment?
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting scenario. You got Anthony Joshua, who's been the two-time former unified heavyweight champion. And, we've seen him be at the top of his game against the likes of Vladimir Klitschko and Alexander Povetkin. But also, had this stumbling in 2019 against Andy Ruiz Jr. in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Before getting the titles back in the rematch.
Right.
Fast forward to around, this time period, y'all brought up the thing there where he did face Francis Ngannou. I think that was March in last year over in Saudi Arabia and got a second round knockout emphatically.
Yes.
But later on down the line in September over at Wembley Stadium, he suffered that stoppage loss to Daniel Dubois.
Yes.
And after that, it was reported that he, was recovering from injury. So from that point in last September up until now, he's kind of been in that recovery mode and starting to get back in the gym. So, we got to see where he's at this particular juncture. But against someone like a Jake Paul, that shouldn't be really much for him, as we saw with him against Joshua, against Francis Ngannou. He pretty much said, listen, this is what you're supposed to do with a fighter or whoever that hasn't had that many pro fights in the ring.
Yeah.
Like Joshua established that. Fury wasn't able to do that. Now, you do have Jake Paul that, had the exhibition last year against Mike Tyson. He had the recent fight against, as I say, Little Chavez, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Who did not fight.
Yeah, right. So that's a completely different thing than to face someone who is, a two-time unified champion. And this is not like, facing Tommy Fury either, who Jake Paul, suffered a loss against. Yeah. So if they're able to pull it off, that's going to be something, because I've talked about it, a couple of times. I said, if they're thinking about trying to pull off this fight in December, that's only like 4 weeks, pretty much like 4 weeks away that they were trying to do this. So that's a very quick turnaround to have a fight and to promote it too, as far as like it being of that magnitude. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, thanks for your comments. I'm kind of leaning in the direction of Bird because when Oganu went down from Josh's, when they fought, the first thing that went through my mind is that we should not mix UFC with boxing. Now, though Ngannou went the distance with Tyson Fury, didn't say a whole lot when he fought Anthony Joshua. And you put Anthony Joshua, and he's in the right state of mind, and he conditions well and gets in and do what we know he can do. Mm-hmm. It could be a hurtful night for Jake Paul.
Yeah.
It could be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And as we always know, we can't think safety when they're matching the fight together. We can only think safety when they're in there and the referee's in there keeping an eye on them. Yeah. Then you can think safety.
Well, let me just put it out there the way I think it really is. If this fight does occur, let's call it what it is. It's going to be a glorified sparring match. A glorified sparring match that's going to be financially wonderful for Joshua. Okay? But let's call it what it is. And the next comment that I have is, let's call this thing really what it is. And what it is entertainment. This is going to be entertainment.
Yeah.
And that's not I don't think you can classify it as a legitimate bout. It's entertainment. Okay? Yeah. And the question is, will people buy it?
Right.
And if they do, then you're buying it not based upon some misconception that this is a heavyweight title fight. You're buying it based upon this is it's a glorified sparring match that's basically more entertainment than a fight.
Yeah.
That's
but you got those YouTubers that have been loyal and have been buying it from the very start of Jake Paul putting these type of bouts on.
Yeah.
So it's kind of almost the fact that this is, like you mentioned earlier, the first legitimate fighter that he's fighting. But then, like the caller said, if they ride this and stretch it, then I think they'll get more buys. As a matter of fact, I think that this could possibly be a big seller to the YouTubers.
Well,
caller, no, yes. Caller, you still? What you think, caller?
Yeah, given that the original bout with Jake and Tank Davis is going to be on Netflix, they were aiming to see if they were going to get close to or equal the numbers that Jake Paul did with Mike Tyson last year, where it reached around like 60 million viewers or so. So now with this here, with Anthony Joshua potentially, given that it's Joshua from the UK, and you already have like Netflix with about 300 million subscribers worldwide, now they could, touch a market that maybe they wouldn't have, had if you had the fight between Jake Paul and Tank Davis. So if this fight does happen, I would be really interested to see like how many fight fans or fans in general would tune in to that fight all over the world.
Right.
Well, you know what? Bird. Here's an interesting side note. Jake Paul said it himself. he said the one fighter that he didn't want to fight because that fighter would, and I'm using his words, kick his ass, was Benavidez. Benavidez is a small light heavyweight. A small light
Right.
heavyweight. You're afraid of a small light heavyweight, but you want to fight
Right.
a legitimate heavyweight.
Right.
Somebody said this, and it's being billed as, and I agree with it. This is the smartest of all boxing big dumbest fights. I don't know who said it, but I think they hit it on the nose.
Yeah. Yeah. And callers, hit your likes, comments, and subscribe. And if there's anyone else that would like to call in, our time is starting to run a little short. But if you'd like to call in and share your views on anything that we've discussed in this show, feel free to do so. Just look at the information in the description. So, yeah, very good points made. Caller, very good points. Bird, very good points. If they can make it happen, that's the whole key now.
Yeah, yeah,
Is if they can make this happen.
yeah. And I
Because
think they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that as a matter of fact, I think it's already been signed.
Oh,
I
really?
believe I read that Frank Warren, I think is his promoter. I think
Frank
he's
Warren.
already signed it and said,
Mhm.
"Yeah, we're gonna do this." All right. So the thing that really bothers me, okay, is that these kinds of fights, exhibitions, really
Mhm.
are taking the place of legitimate fights, like I think Boots Ennis and Virgil Ortiz will be.
Yeah.
That's going to be a fight, okay?
Yeah.
Connor Benn and Eubank Tool, that's going to be a fight. And these
Yeah.
are the things that the game needs, the fight game, okay?
Yeah.
Fights. What I think is happening with the YouTubers, and I'm just being very honest about it, that's about entertainment,
Yeah.
okay? That's not about fighting.
Yeah.
And that's the differentiation I make between these things. Now, do fighters deserve to make money? Absolutely.
Yeah.
They should get as much money as they can get because, they're putting their life and their livelihood on the line every time they step through that ring,
Yes.
So if they can get paid some money, I think they should get that money. Okay. But let's call it what it is. It's entertainment on the one hand, and it's
Yes.
fights on the other hand.
Yes. Yeah. You're correct. Uh, when you look at how Jake Paul has progressed, I don't knock what he's doing. Uh, 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 he he's got people that are willing to pay to see him in the ring, uh, uh, regardless to who it is. And when he started, the hand-picked fighters that he fought was not anyone that we knew. And if they were, either they were retired or there was a whole lot that went to what they were doing then and what they were doing now.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, um, yeah, he has done, like I mentioned earlier, some positive things for the sport with the
Absolutely.
with the women. He has,
Mhm.
but yeah, I what can you say? We are in a time today where entertainment is big.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
has touched the entertainment market and has made it even more big.
Yeah. And fights have always been entertainment,
Yes,
but they
but
were fights first,
yes,
not entertainment first. And I
exactly.
think that's the differentiation that you have to make. And you know, there was so many stipulations when he fought Tyson. The size of the gloves, the number of rounds, that you don't have when you have a legitimate fight. Okay.
Yep.
So those are differences too that I think differentiate the entertainment aspect of this against the legitimate fight aspect.
Yeah.
And what you and I were a part of. Well, actually, we were part of both.
Yeah.
to
Yes.
be honest, we were part of
Yeah.
both. But for
Yeah.
most of our lives and our careers, we were a part of the fight game.
Yeah.
Okay, not the
Yeah.
entertainment game.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're getting close to closing this show. Is the caller still on?
Yeah, yes, I am.
Would you like to uh, have any closing remarks? We definitely want to thank you for calling in and spending some time with the official call.
Yeah, not a problem. Yeah, the thing with Jake Paul, having an impact in the boxing game, over the past few years with most rival promotions, along with Nikisa Badarian, they've, done their thing when it comes to boxing. We know about the whole thing with women's boxing, particularly with Amanda Serrano, having those
Mhm.
fights with Katie Taylor in Madison
Mhm.
Square Garden twice, and being part of that co-feature too, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. So he's definitely made an impact in the boxing game that way. As far as being in the ring, it's kind of like being a mixed bag of sorts for some people. So
Yeah.
it's been good as far as bringing more eyes to the sport of boxing, but at the same time, is it taken away from, as some would say, the integrity of boxing in a sense? Like,
Right.
you brought up the whole thing with the Mike Tyson and how they had rules with all of that type of stuff, and Mike Tyson had to be like, "Listen, man, I mean, I didn't even think I was going to have all of this going on when I was fighting Jake Paul."
Yeah.
But we still was able to do it anyway, right?
So,
Yeah.
And it still was a very successful event. So now, coming to this possibility of Jake Paul facing Anthony Joshua, if we're going to have those same type of stipulations, particularly with it be if it's an exhibition or whatever it is, and how would that affect both of those fighters going into that fight if it happens? So we'll see how that goes, and give big thanks to both of y'all for having me on here for the Official Call podcast, and definitely looking forward to more episodes here in the future.
I really appreciate that. But I got one more question before we go. There's an issue out there. And we talked about Jake Paul and the effect he's had on women boxing, but there's an issue out there in women boxing. And I'd like to get your take on it because you are a trainer. Okay. What do you think about women fighting 3-minute rounds?
Oh, you mean me?
Yes.
Oh no, I'm actually like a media member. Actually,
Yeah.
so I cover the sport
Okay.
of boxing. Been
Okay.
doing that for a while.
But the
The thing
question
with-
is still valid.
Yeah. So the thing with women fighting 3-minute rounds, like
Uh-huh.
for me, I wouldn't necessarily mind it. The only takeaway from it is two things: safety, and we got to say it, fighter pay.
Okay.
The longer the minutes, the longer the rounds, the higher the pay that's going to be, requested for that. And as boxing can be a business sometimes, if it doesn't make sense, then they're not going to go forward with it, or some of the promoters won't go for it. So while you're able to have someone like a Amanda Serrano or an Alicia Baumgartner going forward and doing it, will it be able to carry on or carry forward and be the trend there for women's boxing in the near future? that's something to remain to be seen.
Okay. Appreciate your comment.
Yep. And we've been getting a few, I guess we call them Texas WP33 have made a few comments in regards to what we've been discussing in relationships to styles and entertainment as to what's happening in our sport of boxing. And the other part that the WP33 made mention of is that the whole thing with Jake Paul appears to be more than just a circus act. And I at the beginning when he first came out, that's pretty much the way I saw it. But he has done a little more than trying to help the sport, which we've mentioned with women boxing, and that's going to always be a debated one, Birdman, because some people feel that they should fight for three. We've interviewed women fighters that have said that they would prefer 3 minutes, but as it is now, we just talked with Mauricio Suleiman of the WBC, and he said it's only going to be 2 minutes, and they're not going to deviate from that. And speaking of Christy Martin, me and my wife went and saw the movie Christy. If you haven't seen it, it's at the movie theater now. If you like boxing and wanted to get into the history of what Christy Martin and as to what life was like for her, go watch the movie. Go watch the movie. But anyway, we're signing out. And again, thanks to our fans that have chose to spend an hour with us on the official call. And as always, what I say, you must obey.
Well, okay, let's do this. Thanks for watching the official call today.
You got it.
We go live once a week, usually on Monday. So stay with us. And
let's do this.
I think, Bird, is there a caller on? Okay, we're done.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, there it is.